Okay, now I was looking for some music that sounded a bit panto-like, and this one's called Ooh Mrs. So I thought that's absolutely perfect. 2:15 on a Monday afternoon. Panto is back for 2023, and this week we're giving you a taste of what's coming up in this part of the world. We're going to be, in Salisbury, we'll be in Cheltenham, we'll be all over the shop. But first up today is the Bristol Hippodrome and Peter Pan. Andy Ford is playing Smee. He's legendary in the business, raw variety, stand-up, television performances, but this is where he's really at home, doing Panto. And this is his 11th appearance at the Hippodrome during the festive season. As I say, he's been in the business for years, so you're in good hands. And he told me more about what's in store this year.
Well, this is Peter Pan with the Dame, ladies and gentlemen. I have my mum, Mrs. Smee. How she got on Neverland, I don't know. Suspend your belief. But Kerry Dupree is a wonderful one. Are you allowed to say drag act now? I don't know what the expression is. But she is absolutely brilliant and has got the... So I've been told, because I haven't worked with him yet, the energy and delivery of Danny LaRue, that style of strong.
Oh, yes.
So it's great. We've got a lot of comedy together, me and my mum. I mean, when I saw Mrs. Smee on the original script, I said to the producers, can she be my mum? Please don't marry Smee off. It won't work for the comedy, because if I'm a naughty boy... Even though I'm older than Kerry, by the way. But if I play the naughty boy, that makes the comedy stronger. Plus, it's endearing when my mum, after telling me off for the whole show, puts her arm around me or whatever. You see, the character is stronger if it's played as son and mum. So they agreed to that. So I'm over the moon with that. We met the Wendy and Peter Pan and Tinkerbell. We had a meal together the night before the launch, and they're lovely. They're so young and shiny and talented, and it's their first panto. And you know, I'm a bit mother hen about it all. It's just wonderful that people from all different parts of our business and also different stages of their career, right at the beginning, right at the end, all get together and have fun. There's no other genre of entertainment that does that, Chris. I believe not, anyway.
And any big surprises for us? I mean, all the classics will be there, I'm sure. All the classic kind of things you expect from a panto, but
there's always the routines.
There's got to be surprises as well, hasn't there? Some new things.
The biggest surprise I've ever read in a panto script is in this show.
No.
It knocked me sideways. I couldn't believe it. I can't tell you what it is, but it's massive. And it comes near the end of the show, and when it happens, you think, oh my word, where did that come from? So that's all I can say.
You got me hooked.
When I read it, my jaw was on the floor.
How difficult is it to keep count of the amount of people you've worked with in panto? Because some of them will do it year to year. It'll be their first time at doing panto. It might be a celebrity who's never done it before. Somebody's been on reality TV or whatever. What do you have to do to make them feel comfortable?
Right. Well, number one, and this is a really relevant question because Sir David Suchet in Bristol is doing his first ever panto. So,
wow.
I'm the first panto comic he will have ever worked with. And when I met him, I was quite nervous because it's Poirot, isn't it? So he walked in the room and I went up to him and I said, Sir David, what an honour to work with you. And he said, dear boy, it's an honour to work with you. I thought, I love that. Yeah, but I think, I've worked with, I don't want to name drop, Prince Philip told me not to do that, but I have worked with so many of these wonderful stars like the Fonz and David Hasselhoff and Starsky, Paul Michael Glazier and Steve McFadden and Warwick Davis, and of course the fantastic Leslie Joseph and Barbara Windsor and all these wonderful people. But the thing about panto is, yes, you have to be confident, and yes, if you're the comedy star, you have to be the funniest thing in it. But we're all bringing different skill sets to the show, and it's not for me to stand on anyone else and say, yeah, okay, they're pretty good, but look at me. It's not about that, because if the team works well, And we all work well. I've never had a problem ever with being the feed to a comedy line for someone else, because we're both on the stage at the moment that the comedy works.
Yeah, celebrating Panto this week, and Andy is back later on this hour, and we'll talk about his new autobiography, which is called Pantos for Life, not just for Christmas, which I really like. But yeah, Andy's a bit of a legend. It's his 11th season at the Hippodrome. He's been on television, the Royal Variety Performance, in the presence of Her Late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip on their 50th wedding anniversary. He kept you entertained during lockdown. He did loads during the COVID lockdowns online and became, well, he got an audience all over the world. He also recently joined the Panto Archive Hall of Fame, and he recently published his autobiography. So with 54 years in the business, Andy felt it was time that he told his story.
Well, yeah, I'm 66 now. When are you going to write an autobiography if you don't do it now? And the strange thing is, much as it was therapeutic and cathartic and all that sort of stuff, the good and the bad, I finished it, I put it out, people have loved it, it went to #1 on the Amazon chart, and then I suddenly thought, I missed loads of stuff out. So I've got, and of course this year I've got another exciting year in pantomime to talk about. So with all the stuff I forgot, there may well be a sequel pretty soon.
I love the title of the book, by the way, Pantos for Life, not just for Christmas. That's so good. I ought to ask you then, Andy, what's the biggest thing you missed out? Because you could do that now, couldn't you?
Well, I don't want to give it away too much, but there's loads of incidents of playing clubs and various things happening and stuff in my private life as well. Stuff that obviously, when I sat down to do it, first of all, didn't jump in. But when I was reading it through, I thought, well, after that happened. Mm-hmm. Why didn't I put that down? So I'm going to have to do a catch-up. It's going to be Pantos for Life 2, the stuff I forgot.
I like it. And of all the things you've done, I mean, you've done stand-up, you've done television, I mean, you've done so much in your career. It seems to me, I mean, with the title of that book and everything, Panto is the thing that's your biggest love.
Well, it sort of changed my career trajectory, really, Chris, because, I mean, I've always been I started off as a working musician. Well, I mean, when I did my first gig at the age of 12, I was playing banjo and singing some Wurzel songs and stuff like that, and the old songs my dad used to teach me. So that's how I started. And from there, because my family had always had music nights where we sang together and that sort of thing. So from there, I went to being a vocalist in various dance bands. And then I had my own band. And of course, when a musician breaks the string or something, you have to take a break. So I started putting a couple of gags in there. And the gags started getting almost more popular than the rest of the show. So I suddenly thought, I love comedy. I always have loved comedy, mostly from growing up watching Tommy Cooper and Morecambe and Wise and all those sort of things. And so I followed the dream of doing more comedy, and I gave up some opportunities in other fields so that I could concentrate on my comedy, which ended up, with me shaking hands with Her Majesty the Queen, doing the Royal Variety, being a regular guest on the ITV primetime Des O'Connor show, and all that stuff happened because I honed in on something I really love. And, I always loved the surreal stuff as well, the Goons, Monty Python, as well as the traditional Morecambe and Wise. So it's sort of my comedy became an amalgam of that, really.
Yeah, and who are your heroes then in the comedy world? You mentioned a few there, but some of those people that you really looked up to and were inspired by?
Well, lots, because I love different styles. The beautiful, I mean, I've taught comedy for quite a few years now, and I've got a new course coming out again next year. The thing I love about comedy is no matter how different the styles are, if you like, the rules are still the same. So whether you're a swearing comedian that works at comedy clubs or a observational comedian, in the end, the timing and delivery of a punchline, whatever style, is sacrosanct. So I love watching comedians. I can see their scars when they perform, you know, the nights you walk off to the sound of your own feet. I can see all that. I have complete empathy. So when I look at a comedian, maybe I look at it through a slightly different window than most people do. I loved Robin Williams, who was just great. His persona and delivery surpassed that. He could almost do anything and get a laugh. But when he did almost anything to get that laugh, it was still timed. Do you see what I mean?
That's Andy Ford, and if you want to read more about his life in Panto and beyond, Panto's for life, not just for Christmas. The Andy Ford story, and as he said, it was a top seller. It's got brilliant reviews actually. If you look it up online, 5 stars this book, and he is playing Smee in Peter Pan at the Hippodrome in Bristol. I know it's one that many travel to. Brilliant cast in this one, and it's also subtitled The High Flying Panto Adventure.